Good morning. We're going to start off this morning. I'm going to turn it over to Sergeant Paul Creviston, who's going to talk about some robberies.
Good morning. My name is Paul Creviston. I'm a sergeant with the police department. It's Creviston. Last night at approximately 9:45, there was a robbery that occurred in the 7100 block of West 41st Street. The details are that an African-American male wearing a blue ski mask, a red hoodie, and some gray gloves entered the business and approached several of the employees that were working. When the male came into the store, he told the employees that he was not there to hurt anyone, and then reached into his pocket, and the employees reported what they thought they heard was a handgun slide racking. The suspect then demanded some money. The till was opened. The suspect was able to get away with an undetermined amount of money. Approximately 5 minutes later, patrol officers with Sioux Falls Police Department were able to locate the suspect driving the vehicle that he was reported leaving the scene of the crime in, and he was placed under arrest. That person's name that was arrested was, his first name is Samuel, Samuel. Middle name is Oreoluwa, and his last name is Roberts, Roberts. He is a 21-year-old Sioux Falls resident. The reason I wanted to talk about this today is, obviously, Sam talked about on the 29th, another convenience store was robbed on the south side of town on Louise Avenue. During the course of that investigation, officers were able to canvass the area and were able to develop a vehicle that was possibly involved. During the course of this investigation, they were able to get a suspect description that matched the description of the robber. All this information was obviously relayed to the patrol officers, and then 5 minutes after the robbery occurred last night, that suspect was placed under arrest for the two armed robberies. I think this is just a great example. I know every time I come down here and speak with you folks is that we're always asking for the public's help. We got great information from the public with description of the suspect, description of the vehicle. That information led our detectives to do, obviously, what they do best and develop suspects in these pretty serious crimes. And in a short amount of time, that information was relayed to the patrol officers, and that person was placed under arrest. It was some great work by our patrol officers and able to take the information that was provided to them and to get this dangerous person off the streets. So once again, just wanted to come down and say thanks to the public for the information that they provide us on a daily basis, not only for these cases, but for all the cases that they help us with. And just wanted to thank the patrol officers for the good work on this. So, does anyone have any questions about that?
I have a question. So, once he was arrested, was a firearm recovered?
There was a firearm recovered, yes.
Were there any injuries reported within the two robberies?
Nope, none. Obviously, the employees of these convenience stores were pretty shaken up. It's a pretty traumatic experience to be through. Physical injuries, there were none. Probably have to be dealing with some emotional things in the next couple days, but no physical injuries.
Can you give the location of the two robberies?
The one last night was in the 7100 block of West 41st Street, and the one that Sam had reported on yesterday was in the 5100 block of South Louise Avenue. He was charged with 2 counts of robbery in the first degree, and he was charged with attempt to commit a felony with a firearm. Obviously, one of those will be in Lincoln County because of the location for the first one. Excuse me, and then the second one will be in Minnehaha County. No, go ahead.
So far what we know, he was involved in these two robberies. Is he suspected in being involved in any other robberies in the past?
Well, at that point, that's still what our detectives are looking into, to see if he's involved in any other crimes or anything like that. I guess the investigation is still ongoing at this point. All right, thanks, guys.
Okay, not really much of anything else on the log. The aggravated assaults, one of them was a domestic where somebody was kicked. The other was somebody was threatened with a knife. They know each other, but no injuries with that. The burglary, we had a business. Somebody broke out the window, took some vape pens from inside that. Another one, we had a house that was entered, had some cash taken, and then a storage unit was entered. Nothing real big with the disorderlies. Most of those involve juveniles, some other reports. Family disputes are all reports. There's a few protection order violations. Frauds were ID thefts, and there was one false impersonation. Larcenies, almost all of those were shopliftings. There were a couple of packages taken from an apartment building, and then some tools taken. No big quantities on the narcotics. The robbery, Sergeant Crevison covered. The sex offenses are all reports. Nothing big from the simple assaults, and the vandalism was a car window that was damaged. And that's all I have, unless you guys have anything else.
Do you have any updates on, I know earlier this month, we had a bunch of shootings, specifically on the west side near Tayberry?
Like Tayberry, yeah. No, I haven't heard anything new on that. I'll have to track down the detectives and find out, but that was one where he had several gunshots in that area around a house, I guess a apartment complex, and then some homes. But yeah, nothing new at this point in time, but I'll do some follow-up and check.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, thanks.